Alrighty, odds, ends, mowers, and we're gonna make a quick little video today. I bought this 2019 Craftsman M110 push mower off of Facebook Marketplace the other day. Ain't nothing real special about this. It is a non-self-propelled. Yes, I do have the bag and the side discharge chute. It does feature a 5.5 horse Briggs & Stratton 140cc engine with automatic choke. As I did say, this is a 3-in-1 bagger mulch discharge. Go ahead and show you that this is a 2019, March 2019 at that. So this is a pretty good mower. Go ahead and show you underneath. I do have a brand new blade for this, even though this blade is decent. There is still some factory paint left under here, but I'm gonna start this bad boy up so I can warm up that oil, because we are going to change the oil and do a couple things to it at least before we get it ready to resell. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, so I'm just letting this warm up so I can get ready to drain this oil. Gonna get back on here. I gotta go grab my oil bucket, y'all. Gonna let this run for about 5 more minutes. Okay, this is our oil after about 10 minutes of run time. I am spilling some of it. Okay, while the mower's on its side, we're gonna go ahead and replace this blade. This blade, it was still pretty decent, but for resale value, get a little more of a better blade. Matter of fact, I got a brand new blade up here on the table. Can't find my impact, so we're just ratcheting it off. Gotta have a 5/8 socket to take these off of here. Let's loosen this bolt now, out by hand. Come on, set that up there. Take my blade over to the blade barrel. Go ahead and stick this new blade on. You make sure your make sure your cutting side is down, facing the grass. I see a lot of people put these on wrong, but every time I make one of these videos, I just got to remind you guys. So, cutting side down this way. Make sure your blade lines up with that adapter there. It's gonna be a little tricky, so just bear with me. Gonna go ahead and put our bolt on. Make sure these side tabs are sticking up. Slide this bad boy back on. Lock your tabs. Start it by hand. And we'll go ahead and ratchet it down. Just go ahead and ratchet this bad boy down. Got my ratchet set, foot in place. Just gonna go ahead and give it a few good cranks. But anyway, I'll see you when we put some oil back in here. Okay, now that our blade is on here, we're gonna go ahead and add some fresh oil to this. Got my clean funnel. Always make sure your funnel's clean, that way you're not dragging dirt into your engine and causing premature failure. Just go ahead and add this bottle of SAE 30 Briggs & Stratton oil. You can also use 10W30, it's a lawnmower. Like I say, I always add 18 ounces, which is just this whole thing here. So let that drain down in there and settle. Funnel should be about drained. I'm gonna let it settle and I'll get back on here and check the dipstick. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put our dipstick in. I did clean all the old oil and any dirt that got on here while it was out. I'm gonna go ahead and stick it back in here, check, make sure it's full. This engine by manual says 18 ounces, and that's what I put in here, so this engine should be full. Go ahead and show you guys. It's hard to see, but it is looking full. So we're just gonna go ahead and set the oil dipstick back in here. Briefly, I do want to mention that just because these say do not just add oil, I would always recommend changing the oil to get any metal shavings or anything, any buildup or anything out of here that does accumulate over the years. That way you can, for the longevity's sake. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that fuel and change the clean the carburetor, put fresh fuel back in here, and pull these wheels off and grease them, and this should be our service for today. I got my 7mm socket, and we're taking this carb bowl down so we can clean out this carburetor. It's a little tricky to access these two bolts down here, and it's kind of hard to show, so I'll try and do the best I can. I've already taken one of them off. and you guys got to reach in there and just twist it off by hand, I guess. Yep, she's coming down now. And once I get this bolt out, I'll show you how to pop the bolt off. Yes, I do have a jar, a bucket, so that I can put these in so I don't lose them. You prop the phone up here. So I'm going to prop you guys up like this best I can. Now she's coming off. Just reach behind there. Be careful that your engine isn't hot while you're doing this, or you will get burnt pretty badly. Shouldn't have to say that, but figured I would. One more twist. Now she's off. And it's time for us to pop this carb bowl down. You can use anything. I just try and use the back of my ratchet real quick. Grabbing this little notch. Sometimes I use a flathead screwdriver, whatever I can find, and go try to do it as gently as possible. Just let all that drain out of there. And there is a removable jet pack in here, but it's not clogged, so I should just be able to go and dump that off. Gas don't look too bad, but I do like to, when I buy a mower to fix and resell, I do like to drain the seller's gas out and put fresh gas back in it, because I don't know how long their gas was in here. So I'm just going to let the rest of this drain out and put some fresh fuel back in here, get these wheels all greased up, and we should be able to run again. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put our carb bowl back on after it's all cleaned up, making sure there's no dirt or anything in it. There is only one correct way to put this on, and that's the way I'm showing you here. As your jetpack nozzle has to come down and suck up gas to run this engine. We're just going to slip this on, get one of our 7mm bolts, get these seated. Once I get these seated, I'll get back on here. You do have to be very careful because this is a plastic carburetor, and you do not want to strip these or you will have a mess. So just get this seated, start them by hand. And we'll go from here and get them all tightened down and get some gas back in here, and this thing should be ready to go. When you are tightening this down, just make sure you do a few turns on one bolt, then go to the other bolt and do a few turns there to make sure the torque is equal. That way there is no leaks. I've already done that. By the way, too, for these particular engines, this is your scan code to access parts and everything. If you don't have your manual, that's how you pull up your model number and you can order parts for these engines. Just figured I'd throw that out there too. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this carb all torqued up and we'll be ready to go again. Okay, our existing air filter is pretty filthy, so we're gonna go ahead and toss that. Got a brand new one right here. Just gonna get her out of the package and put her in. She gets a new filter for the customer. Make sure she doesn't roll off my table. And you lock this air filter cover back down. Get it back in these grooves here. And you slip it on. This is the lock up here. Making sure this vent tube from the gas tank goes inside of there. Get that all nice and locked in. Next, we're going to go ahead and grease our wheels. Now, I've shown you how to grease wheels before on mowers, but with these hubcaps, I do have a way of getting these off. Normally just pry them off with a flathead screwdriver, or if you can get your fingernails in there, don't have to clean your nails, but just pry these hubcaps off. Same procedure, 15mm socket here. Make sure she's in a loosening position. Put her on there. Switch camera hands. I gotta get the tripod back over here. Okay, just gonna break this torque. I'll show you guys one wheel because all the wheels are going to be the same after this, and I've shown you guys how to do this before. So here we go. I'm gonna go get the grease gun. Slip this off. Okay, I got the grease gun out. Kind of made a mess in the process, but I'm gonna go ahead and shoot a bead of this or two onto there we go, one more. There we go. That ought to be enough. This is a little bit more thicker than the grease I'm using for that other mower. But just gonna go ahead and grease the bad boy on up. Slip our wheel back on. Get it back on. Rub it back and forth, twist it a little bit. And we're gonna find our nut and put that back on. So I got the nut right here. Set the ratchet. Like I said, I was unable to find the impact today, so this is what we're doing. Make sure she spins freely. Now we pop our wheel hubcap back on, and she's done. So go ahead and show you when we get her running. Okay guys, our services are completed here. Once again, we replaced the blade, changed the oil, got a new air filter in there, cleaned out the carb, got rid of the old gas, put some fresh gas back in here, pulled the wheels off, greased the wheels so for the longevity. Same with the bale cable, we greased it top and bottom. This is a nice mower if you got a decently small yard and you don't need a self-propelled, but you want something that bags. But go ahead and give you guys a test run of this before we go. This is automatic choke, so all you do is set the bale handle and pull the rope. It runs like a new mower, so it is a couple years old. Like I said, once again, this thing is fully serviced. Let's get a little test run. Anyway, I want to thank my subscribers here on YouTube, and I want to thank you guys for the support, especially on TikTok. That's been picking up quite a bit lately, so just keep that going, keep the support coming in. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe on YouTube and follow on TikTok, y'all. And until next time, have a nice day. I'm gonna go ahead and give this thing a bath so we can get it posted, and on to the next one.